Hey everyone. So the Edmonton Oilers have to make some drastic changes right at this point. They need to do it soon or their season's over. Todd McClellan needs to go. That's the first thing. It's time. Earlier in the year, I said let's wait and see how things unfold. Well, things are not unfolding well, and the Oilers are still in 14th place in the West, and they're still well out of a playoff spot. Todd McClellan, he's gone. He's got to go. Another thing, they need to trade for a defenseman. Their defense is atrocious. I watched them on Saturday against Dallas, and I watched them again last night against St. Louis. Their defense is disgusting, and it's not just their defensemen. Their forwards don't know what they're doing in the defensive zone either. Nobody knows who to cover. Nobody knows where they're supposed to be. They're all out of position. They're all overplaying the puck and leaving guys wide open. Last night they leave Tarasenko wide open in the slot. He rips home a goal. So then they make their defensive adjustments by overcommitting to the slot and leaving everywhere else wide open. So some of it's on the players, some of it's absolutely on the coach. Whoever's coaching their defense is doing an awful job, and whoever's in charge of defensive zone coverage is doing an awful job. And that comes back. Even if if it's one of the assistants' jobs, it comes back on the head coach to be in charge of everything. So McClellan absolutely has to go. We've seen before teams get big-time jolts after the firing of a coach. That's the best Edmonton can hope for at this point. They've got major personnel problems. Their roster is not performing at all. Firing the coach isn't going to fix the players' performance necessarily, but you can't fire all the players. And trust me, if you could, I would fire just about everyone in Edmonton except for maybe Connor McDavid. But so the coach has to go, and they need to trade for defensemen. And they need to do it like right now because another few losses and their season's over. That's the other thing. They are very, very close to having zero chance of making the playoffs. If they get to 15 losses before they get to 10 wins, they're done. Their season's over. Right now they're 7-12-2. So they either need to win 3 games or lose 3 games, whichever happens first. Their season is over if they get to 15 losses before 10 wins. They're already in a hole that's going to be almost impossible to dig out of. If they dig even deeper, then they're done. Last night, you go into that game knowing it's pretty much a must-win game. You got to get a win after being a really embarrassing loss on Saturday in Dallas. You're in the middle of a 5-game road trip. You lose the first game in Dallas 6-3, and really, with the exception of about a 10-minute chunk, did not play well at all in that game. So you go into St. Louis, who's the best team in the West, and you know that you need to pull at least a point out of the game, hopefully 2, and you don't even show up. 8-3. You don't even show up. That's just absolutely embarrassing, and that reflects on the coach more than anything. It's the coach's job to motivate and get the guys going and get them ready to play, and they were not even close to ready to play. St. Louis dominated the whole game, and that more than anything else reflects on the coach. And so McClellan's got to go. I know you probably don't want to fire him around Thanksgiving, but I wouldn't hold back. I'd be, if they have another game tonight in Detroit, if they lose tonight, I'd be telling McClellan, sorry, it's over, you're done. They're next. They have 3 games left on this road trip. These 3 games are very important. Their next 5 games are their season. Absolutely their season. If they don't win 3 of their next 5 games, their season's pretty much over. I would say absolutely over. And if they get to 15 losses before they get to 10 wins, there's no coming back. It's so hard to make up points in the NHL with the 3-point games. you can't climb over a lot of teams. It's very difficult to do. Even if you rip off 5 or 6 straight wins, the other team goes 500 in that stretch. You've only made up like 3 points or 4 points. So it's way too difficult to climb over a lot of teams, and that's exactly what they have to do. Thanksgiving is usually the cutoff. I mean, usually the teams in the playoffs around Thanksgiving are the teams that make the playoffs. And there's usually like 2, 3, maybe 4 at the most exceptions to that. So for the most part, the teams that are in now are going to be the teams that make it. There will be a couple teams that come out and rise up after Thanksgiving. Maybe they get a little healthier, they go on a bit of a run, and then they pull themselves into playoff spots. But Edmonton's in a real tough spot. And I don't know if they can fix it. I don't think they have. With the guys they have right now, I don't see them fixing it, because I've watched their last 2 games and they've looked like absolute garbage. And these are games that they know are must-win games and that they need to get better and pull something out of, and they're just not. They're not playing well. So they need to fire the coach, absolutely, and they need to make a major trade. None of this Mike Camilleri for UC Jokinen crap. I don't even know what the point of that was. You're trading has-been who's doing nothing for has-been who's doing nothing. Just an absolutely pointless trade from what I've seen. And I mean, they need to pull off a real blockbuster trade that will substantially change the team. And if they don't do that, they're going to be sitting in the bottom of the West with Arizona and other teams like that, and just stay down there and not come back up. And for a team that was predicted to be easily a playoff team, one of the best teams in the West, and maybe even a Stanley Cup team before this season, this is just unacceptable what we've seen. So drastic changes are needed in Edmonton, and even if they make them, I don't know if it will be enough to save their season. They might be done already. They've certainly looked done in the last couple games. So these next 5 are huge. If they got to win 3 out of 5 at least to even have a chance and stay in it. So that's what I got on the Oilers for you. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow. Thank you guys very much for watching. Keep this page growing. Keep growing the subscribers. Keep growing the views. Love to see it. Thank you guys, and talk to you soon.